Hello, welcome to Comic Geek, the show where geeks young and old can talk, be educated, and geek out about their interests. I'm your host, Robin, and welcome. This is my first video on YouTube, and since it is, I thought, why not discuss who was the first superhero, and does he stand a chance next to heroes we know today? And how might we make him modern of today's audience, if not so? So this may be something you may have never took the time to think about. I have, along doing the boring thing and doing research. With a quick Google search, the first thing I found was that the Phantom, who was created on 17th of February of the year 1936. This is in the time of the Great Depression in the US. The reason this is important is the want of inexpensive ways to pass the time, making it the perfect time for the introduction of comics and superheroes, because people were looking for these inexpensive ways of passing time, which we now today have as the internet, which is why TV and social media has become so popular despite not being in a Great Depression. So who is the Phantom? He is a powerless superhero who was written by Lee Falk. He is very similar to today's Batman. Phantom, aka Kate Walker, is young when his father is murdered, similar to Batman when both of his parents were murdered. Kit only has his father murdered, and so since he has no abilities, he uses his intellect, fighting skills, and gadgets similar to Batman, which is to catch his father's killer. The Phantom is a DC character, making sense when it has such darker themes, though Marvel also dives into angst, similar to other comics such as Image Comics and Dark Horse Comics. DC is known for their angst, even for their more comical and more popular characters such as The Flash. Both Wally West and Barry Allen have very angsty storylines, which is things that are really well known. When you think of angst comics, it's usually DC. They're a lot darker, grittier, and a lot more graphic, and less for children. The comic series is still continuing despite its start 87 years ago. The Phantom is pretty similar to Batman, which I've said multiple times, and it's pretty easy to adapt to modern day. His purple outfit is also being surprisingly modern when looking at the older comics, like Robin, who has this stupid Speedo. Do not ask me why that was so important to have. It was kind of weird and not really that good of a time for DC, I will say, in most comics, because they all had really weird sexual or outfit choices that never made sense. I do know most of them was a male audience, but Robin and a Speedo just never really made sense to me, and I don't really have too much to say. This is really anticlimactic, except DC is older than Marvel, and even though Marvel copied a lot of DC's material, it is cool to see how far they have come and adapted their versions of the popular DC characters like Flash, Quicksilver, Hawkeye, Green Arrow. You can see the correlations between a lot of the characters because they're a lot similar, because a lot of them were adapted, because it's really hard to come up with so many powers, because a lot of powers will start repeating itself after a while. And a lot of the Marvel movies are very popular and great and enjoyable, even though a lot of them have been getting bad and not really doing as well. I still like watching the old Marvel movies. They're all really fun. I like their series of Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and The Punisher. Those are very DC-like, but those are really good, and I do recommend them. In The Phantom, I have not found anything for TV shows or movies, which is weird. If I dive a little deeper, I may find something, but honestly, I don't think that it's that interesting, which is why he is not really that well known. I don't think if I said the Phantom, anyone would know who he is, and if I showed a picture, no one would be able to identify him, really, unless they're really big geeks, which is more of a geek than me. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm sorry that this was very anticlimactic. There wasn't much to dive into, and also it is my first video. I am very new to the platform, and I would like to know suggestions on anyone else you'd like to listen to, or if you would like to hear any comparisons. I am working on an episode about the Robins, which I think will be very fun, especially because I am Robin. Thank you for watching. Bye.